Ukraine. Morgan Ortagus joins me now. Okay, let's deal with this first of all. Biden is speaking. He's saying, I'd like to prevent a war, not start one. But the firing of shots in anger has already started inside Ukraine. Are we about to see an invasion?
Listen, all signs are certainly starting to point that way, and if that does happen, this is yet another failure for this administration. You know, just 6 months ago, we were reading reports and hearing about Embassy Kabul, the staff having to burn documents and quickly exit and flee our embassy in Afghanistan. Just 6 months later, we're getting those same reports out of our embassy in Kyiv. And of course, if that happens, you know, we may not be able to get back into that embassy for the rest of my lifetime. So this is, I think when you look at the pattern, and we've talked about this every time I've been on your show, Stu, you know, we handed, in the Trump administration, we handed a historic peace in the Middle East to the Biden administration through the Abraham Accords. 3 months later, Hamas was attacking Israel. 7 months later, the Taliban took over Kabul. Kabul fell to the Taliban. Now, just a year later into this administration, the Democrats, who were supposedly going to be tough on Russia, are potentially seeing the first ground invasion in Europe, the first ground war since the 1930s. This is an epic failure for people that claim that they are doing nothing but intensive diplomacy.
The Italian foreign minister is in Russia today. He's the latest in a stream of leaders meeting with Putin in Moscow. France, Germany, Brazil, all their leaders, they've all been there. Isn't this what Putin wants? The West coming to beg for mercy from Mr. Putin? That's what he wants, isn't it?
You're absolutely right. He wants to remain relevant on the world stage. He wants world leaders coming to him. Listen, there is this, you know, partnership that he and Xi Jinping have, you know, created with each other. It's a weird marriage of convenience, but the two of them, you're starting to see this alliance form between Russia and China. Russia is actually the junior partner in this alliance. It certainly wasn't that way historically in the Soviet Union. So he wants relevance on the world stage. He wants leaders coming, as you've said, and he wants to claim, I think, as much territory as he can, because, you know, the long-term prospects for Russia isn't great. Their economy is not nearly as strong as it used to be. I mean, the Texas economy is probably bigger than Russia's, and you know, they have a demographic problem. They're not having enough babies there. They've got people that are moving to the major cities out of the interior. So the long-term trends for Russia aren't great, and I think that that's why Vladimir Putin is trying to reconstitute as much of the Soviet Union he can under his reign.
You can always say that we're suffering because of the aftermath of Afghanistan, and I think that's true. You can always say that we got off to a slow start when we first realized there was a threat of invasion. You can always say that, and that is true. But what about the performance of the president now? He seems to be doing the right thing. Would you agree with that?
Well, listen, I think that what the allies are threatening to do, first of all, should have been front-loaded and done a long time ago. But if Russia does invade, the West, NATO, we've wagged our finger at the Russians and said it's going to be sanctions. We're going to potentially cut you off from the dollar, you know, and many other sanctions threats. We need to follow through with that, because if Russia does invade, and if Germany and the French and others don't actually implement the things that Biden has threatened, it's going to be almost worse than threatening.
All over. Yep, it's all. If they don't go through with what we've threatened, it's all over. Morgan Ortagus, not inside information, but expert knowledge. That's what I'm looking for. That's what you got.
Thank you.